now have a speaker from Colombia, Stefan Krautwald. He's originally from Germany, but he lives in Medellin, Colombia, and he will talk about cryptocurrencies and the effect on retail. They have a very exciting project called Fluz Fluz. I have no idea how that name comes from, but maybe you will explain. And there will be even a Fluz coin. And yeah, thanks for supporting our event. And
Thank you very much.
Great to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Already tough afternoon, so I'll be quick and down to the point. So let's take the next couple of minutes to speak a little bit about the junction between crypto and retail. This is where we are operating and basically coming from the retail side towards crypto, basically. Okay, so what initially is the problem that we put ourselves to solve? First of all, and I think this is for such a sophisticated audience that we have here in the room, is not really news. I want to be very quick. We are seeing that there are deficiencies on the payment level from traditional payment companies, and we're also seeing some deficiencies of current cryptocurrencies that try to get into the retail space and try to be adopted for mass use, basically. So if we're looking at this, current solutions from either traditional and non-blockchain based side or from those that are out there and want to solve it are missing pieces that really drive retail mass adoption. And this is the challenge and task that we put ourselves with our proposal of the Fluz ecosystem, basically. So the Fluz ecosystem is composed of basically two items at this stage. One is Fluz Fluz by itself, and the other one is Fluz coin. So sometimes we tend to say Fluz Fluz, and you will see that we're talking about an up and running business in Latin America, which is, as we speak, entering into the US market, basically, is what we consider in our model the engine, basically, and Fluz coin is the oil in this engine in order to unite retailers and consumers and effectively close this gap between crypto and retail. Let me start off by introducing you to the first proposal of our ecosystem, which is the Fluz coin. Fluz coin basically sets out to be a fully used virtual retail currency with, and this is, let's say, one of the core elements, with an AI-backed central banking mechanism. So what we are providing is a semi-stable coin which can be used at retail. So currently, probably many of you have heard that there is a lot of concepts out there that are in the stablecoin sphere. There is quite an interest from institutional and, let's say, retail levels to look into stablecoin concepts. We are going one step beyond and saying, no, we are not pegging ourselves to a established fiat currency, but basically using artificial intelligence in order to manage from a real reserve difference towards many of the currencies out there. We are talking about a real non-Fluz coin reserve from which we are drawing the potential to steer through a flexible supply, where a flexible supply cryptocurrency, steering the volatility that is normally attached to cryptocurrencies due to their monetary nature, and thereby guaranteeing the retailer and the average user the possibility to use the coin and effectively make a good use of it on a everyday level. Now, in terms of our blockchain solution, what do we do? After careful analysis, we chose Quorum, JP Morgan based, as the enterprise solution that will allow retailers to effectively transact for free in our model. So one of the key proposals here is the transaction cost saving aspect for retailer, and this has sparked in our discussions with key, I would say, global players in retail, their interest in looking deeper into our proposal. By the way, when we're talking about evolution of currencies, we propose ourselves as basically the latest generation cryptocurrency using blockchain technology, its advantages, and enabling a better use of it through AI.
Cryptocurrencies have come a long way, and the fundamental benefits of cryptography and blockchain technology are indisputable. Yet the critical point of mass adoption has not yet been achieved. So what prevents widespread use by consumers and retailers alike? 4 key factors: excess volatility, high transaction cost, slow transaction speed, and insufficient KYC compliance and protection of consumer data privacy. Now, here's exactly where FluzCoin comes in to simultaneously solve all of these deficiencies. We've developed a new system of AI-powered coin governance, which controls volatility and offers a healthy appreciation path for coin holders. At the same time, last-generation blockchain technology enables FluzCoin to provide high-speed transactions in a cost-free environment for the retailer. A team of proven omnichannel retail experts and world-class machine learning engineers have come together to bring FluzCoin to the starting line. We have also assembled a group of high-reputation business and academic leaders to ensure the proper functioning of the algorithm-based coin governance through FluzCoin Foundation. With this strong setup, we envision FluzCoin becoming the platform coin for retailers to launch their own coins. Join us now as thinker, investor, and retailer at the inception of a truly intelligent retail currency.
So this is basically it. I'm done with what I had to say. No, so basically, okay, what we are trying to do is effectively, as it might become clear, contribute to the global evolution of retail usable payment systems. Just let's be very quick on the points who benefits in this system. So we have 3 players, basically the consumer, the retailer, and the investor. Where are the benefits for the consumer in adopting FluzCoin? So we have the traditional, already traditional benefits of cryptocurrencies, its tradability, its, let's say, immediate nature. We have the good elements of blockchain, and we have the fault-free and the immutable nature, and which is basically no news to the people. But we also have a price difference. We have a price difference, in this case, obtained by the difference that the retail price versus cutting out financial intermediaries can yield towards the retailer, and then this margin to be split by these two, and consumer obtaining lower prices expressed in FluzCoin. Initially, this is the natural state of things. Initially, an aggressive PayPal type of the start of the currency will be an additional benefit in order for consumers to get into the adoption level as needed. Retailers save the transaction costs, are exposed to crypto markets, as we know, and also benefit themselves from fraud and chargeback-free currency stage, and can piggyback on FluzCoin as such, launching their own coins on top of it and benefiting from the volatility control mechanism that we have. Investors, and here's an interesting element to it, FluzCoin working through an autonomous foundation, issuing and retracting coins from the market, also rewards coin holders over time through the issuance of more coins. So very different from price speculation. FluzCoin merits the mere coin holding by increasing the individual total coin holding, and thereby the individual coin holder value, while maintaining a reference price of the coin fairly stable. So how does FluzCoin in practice work? Just very quickly, we have 3 players in our ecosystem that make it up. This AI algorithm, which automatically, under certain rules, intervenes under a probability-based algorithm and steers the supply, basically. We dub this algorithm, which is basically managed by a foundation, the Eunomia Foundation. Eunomia is the Greek goddess of stability and good practice. So this is in our system of checks and balance how coin governance should work. We're talking about a patent application that has been filed in the US Patent Office for this novel approach to monetary policies based on a flexible supply in the crypto world. And on the same time, we have a system of a company which is Fluz Coin Private Enterprise that by itself is aligned in order to manage the mass adoption and bring in the brand building of the coin and be rewarded in coins itself, basically. So we have non-for-profit, autonomous, and a private player entering into this stage. Here is a real use case of what we've just have seen is not a completely dream scenario. We are talking about merchants that as of now are either in the implementation phase or have already been made available to accept Fluz coin. The merchants that we are seeing here on this site are available once Fluz coin launches through the Fluz Fluz app. And now we're going to speak a little bit about how these two players tie into the space. So what is Fluz Fluz? Now that we've seen Fluz coin. Fluz Fluz is an up and running cashback network in Colombia. Fluz Fluz bundles purchasing power through an application of everyday consumers that use our application, reflect their consumption on one of the many partner merchants that we have. We're talking about more than 200 partner merchants in Colombia, and receive cashbacks through their consumption. But not only through their consumption, and here's the twist and the novelty of the approach of Fluz Fluz, is also this cashback potential extends to a network, or what we call a co-op of people attached to oneself. So for the first time, I have the possibility to use my extended social network, friends and family. So whenever they go and purchase at the retail store, I earn cashbacks. What does Fluz Fluz do? In other words, we provide a platform for everyone to unite, keep purchasing what they purchased before without buying in or without, let's say, any negative downside for the consumers on the participating in our network, and really drive cashback in a sizable form. As of now, and we started a year and a half ago, we have 100,000 active users in Colombia, Fluzers, as we call them. We realized through an ICO mechanism in January 2018, ICO that sold out in 1 week, fortunately enough. We collected funds in order to launch our business in the United States. So this is exactly what we're doing as of now. The app is quite in an advanced stage and will be in the next couple of weeks announcing the formal launch in the US, and thereby enlarging our global consumer cashback network, because this is in the end the point. And this cashback that is being used is going to be the Fluz coin as such. So that's where we have the full circle of tokenized cashbacks to be obtained. I think this is almost the last slide that I have for you, just very quickly. So Fluz Fluz is an influencer marketing model where whenever I have a good network, I have a lot of people that I can speak to. This is exactly the platform on which I give them the possibility to earn themselves and make money helping others shop, which is basically our slogan. Okay. Okay, this is just let's say a couple of screenshots of the application effectively. So this is live already in Colombia. It's up and running, and it is now the US version of it. So just last slide in order to finalize and hopefully have sparked your interest in one or the other way towards our company, and I'll be happy to engage with questions and comments that you'll have. Myself, and I skipped to mention this in the beginning, I'm one of the founders of Fluz Fluz, German by heart, but living in Colombia for the last 10 years and being entrenched in this emerging market, coming from an e-commerce space. We are luckily enough to have been assembling a team of different backgrounds of people, very strong leaders and senior managers, current senior manager of e-commerce companies, and also a different, let's say, physical retail, as well as payment systems. So I'm not going to read them all out, but we feel quite strongly positioned in order to bring this business to where we want it to be. So that's it, basically. I thank you very much for all your attention, and I'll be happy to take some questions from the audience, if any. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Your questions, please. Yeah.
Yes, hi. Did I hear you correct that part of Fluz Fluz allows you to access the data of your social networks, and then you're essentially selling that to other companies? Isn't that what got Facebook in all the trouble?
No. I think luckily I can say you didn't hear me correctly, because we're not selling any data. Yeah, and what we're doing is we're allowing you, as a consumer, as a regular guy, to invite other consumers into your personal co-op by their personal choice and by their voluntary choice. Yeah, and once they join and start to consume through the Fluz Fluz app, you will profit in terms of a split of the cashback obtained from the purchase of this particular member of your co-op.
Okay, so the cash back then, that is coming from the businesses in lieu of a payment fee?
Exactly. So in this case, from the business side, this is the interesting part. From the retailer side, Fluz Fluz is just one additional marketing channel for customer acquisition and for customer retention to them. Effectively, quite an interesting one, an attractive one, as compared to, let's say, flash deal sites, for instance. They don't have to lower their pants that far in order to attract a customer. So what we are creating, we're driving is loyal and recurrent customers to the stores of our affiliated retailers, and we take the margin that this retailer gives us and distribute it under a certain logic here in our model, which we didn't go in all the detail in, but we distribute it among the participating co-op.
So then wouldn't that essentially be a transaction fee, though, because you're advertising zero transaction fees for the merchant?
Right, so we're tapping, very good point. So we're tapping into two different pools from the merchant side, yeah? So if you're looking at the merchant P&L, you have one line which says transaction costs, and then you have another line which says marketing costs. And we're talking about these two lines, and the transaction cost by using Fluzcoin is effectively zero. That's right.
Because it's offset by the marketing. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
can I get when I be a great influencer at the FluzCoin network and bring, I don't know, 200 new users every day, more or less? Get I only rewarded by sharing the revenue or the cashback, or get I also rewarded with Fluz coins, like on Steemit when I get produce their great content, I get the coins. Is there also something?
Okay, so basically, as the name suggests, we are a co-op based on consumption. So the only reward that ever accumulates is based on real consumption. This generates a sustainable model. This is basically where all the juice is coming from. So by the mere fact of inviting someone who then in your co-op doesn't produce, there is no cashback to be distributed. Otherwise, we would fairly easily become a non-sustainable business. Yeah, and precisely the cornerstone of everything we're talking about here is the consumption. Exactly, we need to do so. But in the end, interesting part. So you can have in your personal co-op, you can have a small amount of people with a high spend, or a high amount of people with a low spend. In the end, what matters is the total consumption.
Why is it called Fluz Fluz? I never understood that name.
Very good.
I'm
so
just curious.
Fluz for the maybe the Arab speakers among us means money. So and I think also in southern France and in large parts of the Jewish world, a lot of people know what Fluz means. Fluz is colloquially in German die Kohle. Ja? Also,
okay.
Ne?
I see.
Ja, die Kohle, ja. Wer braucht keine Kohle? Alle, oder nicht? Ja? Okay.
Now I know. Okay. So more questions.
I would like to touch on the issue of volatility. You mentioned that you are going to use an endowment, and that's going to reduce volatility by buying or selling in order to have a reduce some kind of market making. One would call this in the traditional asset classes. Who's going to pay for that? Because I mean, people that reduce volatility are the ones that are buying if everybody wants to sell, and vice versa. And this is usually a costly experience.
Right. Okay. Very good question. There's a lot to talk about it, but let me be precise and concise about it. So first of all, our model is based on launching from a real reserve this volatility control mechanism. Meaning initially, the reserve as such will take what it takes in order to manage the volatility as such, and do so under an algorithm which works with an intervention probability, meaning that whenever there's a price surge or price decline, depending on its level, the probability of intervention rises or declines before a tougher short-selling attack, for instance, a Soros attack, something like this can occur. So everything is about prevention of a sharp decline to occur, not stabilizing and let's say doing the curve again once the child is already thrown in das Kind ist im Brunnen verloren. Yeah? So it's about intervention at this very early stage, and it's about natural demand generation through the retail adoption, so that through natural and organic demand, basically, coin stability is fostered as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Stefan.
Thank you guys, thank you. Okay.
Stefan will be tomorrow also on our Latin American panel as a typical Latin American.